We are starting once again from the performance shop, and the reason for that is, well, because we have unlocked some new upgrades, and of course I am going to make the best of this by putting on those upgrades.
You know what? Take practicality and throw it out the window. The performance shop will tweak your ride to get the most horses and torque you need.
So let's start off with the Stage 2 transmission, because I may need that, and I'm going to go with... yeah, let's go with Clutch Masters. Why not? Okay, already got the suspension. Nitrous, I'm absolutely certain I have fitted on. Tyres, brakes, weight reduction, that's already been fitted. And now, last but not least, I'm going to put on the turbo. Yeah, let's go Grady, since that's the sponsor I'm trying to get for Stage 5. I'm also pretty sure that's all of our Level 2 upgrades fit. Level 2 upgrades now fitted. And now, I'm going to put on some body customization, since that is one thing I will no doubt be needing more of before we move on. And that will be important, because it also means that we can get some more magazine covers. So I've now got the Stage 2 Turbo, and let's now go and do some body shop work on this thing, as I immediately run into a car. Okay, well, I think we're pretty much done here now. I'm gonna save the game as well whilst I'm here, because I might need that. Saving the game up to this point is gonna be especially important, especially when I'm going for as many reputation points as I can get with a lot of these races. So, I think it's now time to begin with the circuit races, and I think I'm going to do 2 circuit races tonight, and then I'll get on with all the others later on.
The film crew is hanging out looking for their next show boy. Just make sure you cross the finish line first, and you'll get in their movie for sure.
Yep.
Modified to the Max Entertainment is out tonight looking for footage for their next video. Make sure they notice you. Show some style.
Rachel, I will make sure they know it's me. But anyway. So, we have a total of 8 circuit races to get through here. We've already cleared 11 of the 30 required events we need for NOS, but of course there is a lot more than that. And I'm going to begin by starting here in Jackson Heights. So, let's go. As we have got our message from Jamie. Whoa, sucker. If your ride was a poker hand, I'd be folding it right about now. You think you got enough to beat my straight flush? let's lay down the cards and find out on the track. I don't think I've actually read that message before, so I decided to read it anyway. I don't know what it was, but something definitely got caught up in my throat. I really couldn't tell you what it was. So we've got a Golf GTI, an Audi TT, and a Subaru Impreza as our competition here. And don't quite get the head start over the Audi TT because, well, obviously both Audis in this game are four-wheel drive, so you'd kind of expect him to get the advantage off the line, but already I do manage to get some decent pace early on, as I do manage to take the lead. I am of course doing this on the easy difficulty because, well, I've had to replay the entire game up to this point on the easy difficulty, which is why my reputation points are so high, and, well, in all honesty, I need them to be really high, because if they're not, then I will not get the sponsors I need in order to actually complete this game. I should also mention, if you plan on doing this whole game on the hard difficulty, I can assure you, you will not succeed in your quest to making 100%. Unless you're doing it on the PC version, 100% on the console version, if you're doing the whole game on medium or hard, I can guarantee you will probably not succeed. And that's why I've literally replayed the whole game up to this point on the easy difficulty because, well, as you can see, you can basically win these races by absolute margins. Well, absolute margins, and then take those margins to the absolute extreme. Because that's basically what it takes in order for you to actually get all the way up there. I also put on some body modifications as well, if you weren't paying attention and you're wanting to know why my car looks different. Well, that's one of the reasons, because my car does look just a little bit different. And that's because I did body modifications. So, because I'm recording this now late on a Friday night, I think I'm going to do the first 4 races tonight, and then I'll do the other 4 races another night, or another day, because, well, I do have things to do between now and then, but I will try and make sure I at least manage to finish the career mode side of the game, because I know that will be important. And hopefully by the time I have signed with Grady, hopefully that should be enough in order for me to hopefully that should be enough in order for me to get all the way to 100%. I don't think me signing with Yokohama is going to affect my chances in terms of completing the game, but what will affect my chances of completing the game, however, is making sure that I get the very best sponsor I can get from beating Stage 4 with as many sizable rep points as I can get, and also making sure that I have secured those sizable rep points. because they will be important. So, I am now moving ahead of my competition. And, well, it's kind of obvious because, well, as you can probably tell, I am of course doing this on the easy difficulty. And that's precisely how I've replayed the game up to this point. I'm also doing a lot of crashing. But that's okay because, well, since I am so far out ahead, providing I don't make too many more mistakes before the end, I should be able to walk away with the win fairly easily. Because odds of me losing this now are quite unlikely. Because as you can see, I am just so far out ahead of everyone else. Even then, of course, if I am continuing to basically rack my way down the mountain, which seems to be what I'm doing a lot of at the moment. In other words, I'm doing more crashing rather than racing. It's basically checkers or wreckers at this point. Win or crash. I'm basically able to win one race and then wreck the next race, even though I still win, because, well, easy difficulty and, well, overpowered winning margins, they pretty much tell the tale. Oh, we had 2 Golfs in that race, not 1. Okay, and an Audi TT. Okay, that makes sense. But there we go. Our first circuit race of stage 4 has now been completed. And now let's head up to the top of the mountain for race number 2. And we've now unlocked some more mirrors. Anyways, let's now head up to circuit race number 2. Because I can do that. I think the GPS is having a problem. Okay, now it's corrected itself. And here it is. Circuit race number 2. You ready to saddle up for this run, dog? Whoa, you know I'm talking about your car, not real horses, right? I always forget that you're from the sticks. Sorry, dog. Again, I've read that description many times. I just chose to read it again because, well, I wanted to. Also, that text message came from Alden. Or Alden. So let's see what we have here. Okay, so we've got an Infiniti G35. Another... oh, a Nissan 350Z and a Lexus IS300. Well, I think this is probably going to take a little more than about 3 minutes. I don't think this is going to take any more than approximately 3 minutes, is what I think. Because that's just how short I think this race is going to be. Oh, okay. It's alright, it's fine. I'm through. Let's now go out and get some more easy reputation points. As I mentioned before, I'm basically replaying the whole of stage 4, but this time on the easy difficulty, which means I will be able to acquire the Grady sponsorship without there being too much trouble along the way. And Grady, by the way, will be the final piece to the jigsaw puzzle. If I can sign with that sponsor, we should be able to get... I think we should be able to get 100% if we sign with Grady. That's the sponsor I need. And that is also the sponsor I need to get. Hopefully, if I'm lucky, that will wind up being the sponsor I get. I'll also be very upset if I don't get that sponsor, because I need it in order to officially beat the game statistically and prove that I am here to win my battles, as well as my war with clinching 100% in this game, or basically just getting triple digit figures regarding completion of this game anyway. I know that's what I need to do, and that's what I'm going to try and do, because I need to make sure that from here the needle is able to thread every single time. And I also need to make sure that my winning margins are big enough as well. Why did I think it was a good idea to run straight into that car? I have no idea what's going on here anymore. Anyways, we continue. And I really cannot wait to get out of here. And there we go. I win, with a time of 3 minutes and 26 seconds. Russell was second, Alden was third, and it was Tom who came home fourth. Another easy 300 rep points and 1200 bank points. And now we shall move on to our next two races, and then I can pretty much call it a night and get on with the rest of these races another day. Because I am getting pretty tired now. Okay, let's head down to Beacon Hill. Oh boy. And here it is. Circuit race number 3 of stage 4. Coming from Stefan. Step right up, bro. Always room for losers. This is different from the sticks. As soon as you put your bank down, you get the course map. Now you in or what? I am so in. I just had to open my window and grab a sip of water from my water bottle. So we get a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8, a Subaru Impreza, and... oh, yeah, and a Mazda RX-7 in terms of our competition. My throat is having a very hard time at the moment of staying clear. Although I guess that must be because, well, I've been going at this now for the last... Because I've been going at this now for the last, what, 2.5 hours now? And because I'm recording this late on a Friday night, I've already said that before, but no, you get the idea. Anyways, I'm going to continue moving forwards as I run straight into the back of a taxi. Anyways, I did also open a window whilst I was at it because, well, it's getting pretty hot in my room at the moment, and that's probably why I need to call it a night once I'm done. I really need to let some air in here. So, I'll do this, and then one more race, and then I think that'll do it for part 1, and then I'll get on with part 2 another day. Because, well, I've been going at this now for a while, and I know when it's time for me to call it a night. And that took me under 2 minutes to set my first lap around this course. And already I am leading by 10 seconds over Scott. Stefan is 3rd, and it's Ryan who is running in 4th. It might also be worth it for me to give my PS3 a day off once I'm done here, because I've been on the system now for 5 straight days, basically trying to make ends meet, and basically just trying to fucking throw myself back up to where I was at before all of this kicked off. But anyways, I reckon I've made some good progress, and I think by the time I'm done with this part at least, I'll probably be 40% complete. But anyway, I am already building up an absolute margin over Scott, and it looks like it's pretty much going to stay that way, from what I can understand. I don't think he's going to catch me, but I am using plenty of nitrous to secure it, because I know that's going to be useful. Hey, I just hit 169, nice, top speed. In other words, the top speed I just reached was 169 nice miles per hour. In other words, I reached a nice top speed. Anyway, let's keep ourselves moving. So, final lap here of Circuit Race 3. I don't know the names of these tracks, and, well, nor do I really care about the track names, because I'd hardly remember them anyway, but it doesn't matter, because what does matter is I'm way the fuck out ahead of everyone else, as I would have expected on the easy difficulty, which, as I've said twice before, is what I'm playing this on now, so I can secure the Grady sponsorship, and then once I'm done with that, I will make sure to get the 100% completion I want so badly. And there we go. I win, with a time of 5 minutes and 35 seconds. Scott was 2nd, Stefan was 3rd in the Mazda RX-7, and Ryan was 4th in the Subaru. Alrighty. I'm now going to do one more race tonight, and then once I'm done with that, I will carry on with this again another day. Because I am pretty worn out now. So, this will be my last circuit race for tonight, and then I will get on with part 2 of the circuit races another day. Because I'm getting pretty tired. I've been at this now for at least...
Hey, yeah, what's up, kid? Yo, got some action for you. Nah, I haven't been able to pinpoint the place, man, but it's somewhere in the stadium area. Your crew tells me some easy pickings. Yeah, I'll give you a shout if I hear any more. Later.
Yeah, again, the random phone calls keep popping up. I should also mention we unlocked a new ECU upgrade from winning that race, which is a good thing because it means I can make this already very dominant car even faster. Hey, we are now 84. We are now 40% complete with the game. And my average rep at the moment is 285.7. Anyways. This will be my last race for the night, and then I will get on with the other races another day. Because I need to rest and recuperate before getting on with this again. So we've got a Ford Mustang GT, an Infiniti G35, and a Mitsubishi Eclipse. Well, so we've got a Ford Mustang, an Infiniti G35, and a Mitsubishi Eclipse as our competition here in circuit race number 4 of ironically stage 4. Okay, so let's completely ignore what just happened at the end of that previous attempt because, well, my efforts became so bad on that previous attempt that I honestly do not want to talk about it. Even though I probably will have to point it out because, well, once again, traffic had to intervene at probably the fastest corner on this track. And that's precisely what I think this is because, well, not only is that the fastest corner on the track, it's also the most dangerous corner because, well, traffic is one thing you can never predict. And that, I think, has just proven my point yet again. But this time, however, I got a much smoother run compared to before. I also didn't think it was possible for me to put 2 wheels on a taxi, which I think was actually pretty cool. It also showed, of course, that I was determined to miss the accident, and in some cases I did. I'm also pretty sure there's a glitch somewhere in that part of the course with the tunnel where if you go too fast through one part of that tunnel, then the game will basically glitch you out. Wanna know why I hate this corner? Well, that's the simple reason. Because not only does that corner feel like a dagger, it basically stabs you like a dagger. Is basically what it does. But either way, it doesn't matter because I still have a sizable enough lead for me to get maximum rep, and also because, well, except for that, the mistakes I've made, they've been pretty few and far between up to this point. And in all honesty, I'm okay with that. The only thing I really need to figure out now is how to get through the rest of this without making a total tit of myself. Yeah, I had to downshift. Otherwise, if I didn't, then I would have run straight into that car and I would have lost a ton of time from making that same mistake again. Anyway, doesn't matter now because I win and wreck at the same time. So anyways, so Wes was second, Costas came home third, and it was Stuart who came home fourth in his Ford Mustang GT. Not bad, not bad. Now's the time for me to get a replay, because I could use this. I'm also using this because, well, I've actually not got many circuit race replays from Beacon Hill. At least I don't think I do. But anyway. Here is one of them. Because I'm cool like that. Or I at least try to be cool like that. Just sipping my water bottle again, because I need that additional water. It would have been really cool if it would be possible for me to get a thumbnail shot of me. I have no idea how I avoided that accident, but either way, it seemed to work because I came away with minimal damage. And that's basically what I was wanting. Again, with the replay cameras, I seem to be getting a lot of close-up shots here of the Hyundai and not really much else. If that makes any sense. Yeah, I'll give it a few more seconds. Okay, I'm gonna stop it there now. I think that should do it. I'm gonna stop it there right before disaster escalates further. I've also been recording this now for 41 minutes, so I think it's time for me to call it here. Since I figure now is a good stopping point for the night, I'll get on with the rest another day. So, 4 races are done, and 4 races remain. I'm now going to head over to the next one, which is all the way up here. I will head straight over there, and then I will call it a night. Because I've made some pretty good progress today. I'd say I've made at least 6% progress since I started this. So I'm just going to drive straight over there and just leave it there for another day. Yeah, I'm definitely not doing another one tonight. Anyways, this is where we will begin the second half of our circuit races, as we are now 41% complete, and we've now done 90 races in this game. And we're pretty much on target to getting the Grady sponsorship so far. Anyways, on to part 2. 4 races have now been completed in the stage 4 circuits, and now we will move on to race number 5, and this is coming from Dana. Already read the message before. I certainly don't need to read it again. As a matter of fact, I think I've read that message twice, so as you can probably tell, I have no intentions on reading it again. So, let's now get on with the race itself, where we have a Mazda RX-8, a Toyota Celica, and what's the 4th car? It is I still can't see it. I think that is a Mazda RX-7, although I could be wrong. Either way, it doesn't matter, because what does matter is I've now taken the lead, and it's only taken me just under 20 seconds to officially take the lead. And whilst we're at it, I of course am making sure that I pull out a gap early on. Even though early on I've not got off to the best of starts. But that's okay, because since I'm on the easy difficulty, I will not have too much trouble pulling away from the pack behind me. I'd also imagine it's only going to be a matter of time before I wind up being at least 10 seconds ahead of everyone else, because that is just how dominant you can give yourself a run if you have this game on the easy difficulty. In other words, you can literally be that disgustingly dominant that your competition literally just has absolutely no chance of being there. I can also guarantee that if I do manage to get 100% at the end of this game, it'll basically be an even more satisfying feeling than from when John Elway and the Denver Broncos finally won the Super Bowl. After many years of trying, and also, ironically, many years of failing. I think he also came close to winning the Super Bowl twice before, as well, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, well, John Elway and the Denver Broncos, to those of you who remember Super Bowl 24, and I did recently watch the highlights of that game earlier today, but I gotta say, there was no stopping the 49ers in that game. I think it was also the last time the 49ers won the Super Bowl with Joe Montana at the helm. I am also a big NFL fan, but I do notice these things. And I've had a crash. But it doesn't matter, because I know the AI are not going to close the gap by much, and it's only going to be a split second before I start pulling away again. And yes, I know to some of you it might look disgusting just to see me pulling away by this much. With a race in this game, but again, this is the only way I can actually get the Grady sponsorship offer, because the sponsors you sign with are dependent on the amount of average rep that you get from the previous stage before you do your first race in the following stage, and then that will basically contradict over whether or not you either will or won't manage to beat the game. Also, I should mention John Elway and the Broncos. It was Super Bowl 32 where they finally managed to win it, and they ironically in a way beat the reigning Super Bowl champions at the time, the Green Bay Packers, who were led by Brett Favre. But either way, there was no question in saying the Broncos basically deserved that Super Bowl win, as well as the 1997 title under all aspects. Even though it was the 1998 edition of the game when it happened. I should also mention 1998 was... Oh, it was an MX-5. Okay. I had a feeling it was another Mazda, but I just couldn't quite see what model it was in the background. But anyways, I've basically blown out my competition once again. And... have I recorded a replay up to this point? I don't think I have. Well, I'll get myself a replay now just in case, because then I won't have to worry about this sort of thing again. I also have a feeling that's probably going to be the best shot you'll get of me being in the middle of a pack. But yeah, still. It should also be mentioned that, well, the one thing that I believe makes the experience of John Elway winning the Super Bowl not once but twice is knowing that he literally did it 2 times on the trot. And as ironic as it might be, at the end of what one can describe as being probably the best storybook ending to the career of one of the NFL's greatest ever quarterbacks, John Elway and the Denver Broncos, they basically beat the Atlanta Falcons by quite a big margin in Super Bowl 33. 15 points, I believe. But either way, it was a more than fitting way for John to basically bow out of the sport as someone who basically just wanted to win the Super Bowl, and by God, he certainly went out of the game with a ton of prominence, and ironically a ton of certification regarding that in his final 2 years of playing in the NFL, he went out and won the NFL's biggest game 2 years in a row. Something which has not happened very often.
Put it down out there, and Automax magazine is talking about putting you down on their cover.
Although technically speaking, the Kansas City Chiefs did win the Super Bowl just a few weeks ago because, well, I don't think there's any stopping the Chiefs right now. They're basically about as dominant as what the Patriots were in the early and mid-2000s. I mean, the Patriots, during that time when they were led by Tom Brady, they were basically the team to beat. And as ironic as it might be, the Chiefs basically seem to have domination that, in a way, is almost identically similar to what Brady and the Patriots once had. Even though personally the team I support would be the San Francisco 49ers. And well, just for point of reference, if you want to know which team it is I support, well, I'll just say go 49ers. Okay, anyways, on to the next race. Yo dude, this is your chance to prove you ain't a punk. We're racing a circuit and there's room for more drivers. A course map will appear as soon as you commit. Now do your mama proud. Demetrius, I have a feeling my mama is already proud of me. But if it's possible, I'll be able to do Rachel even prouder. Also, just for point of reference, the Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl again a third time in 2015, where it was ironically another one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Peyton Manning, who basically went out and was able to have a storybook ending to what, under all intents and purposes, was another legendary career. Peyton Manning, by the way, also won the Super Bowl playing with the Denver Broncos. He also won it playing for the Indianapolis Colts. But yeah, it's occasions like that where you know, for the career of a legend, you know it's always going to be probably the best way you can go out. I also believe Ray Lewis bowed out of the sport as well, if I'm not mistaken, because he and the Baltimore Ravens, they won Super Bowl 47 against the 49ers, and Ray Lewis was able to retire from the sport on top as, I think, one of the sport's greatest running backs. At least I think that was the position he was in. I'd have to check to be sure, but I think Ray Lewis was a running back. But either way, he's definitely one of the sport's longest serving players. And he always played with Baltimore, so you can probably understand the sheer commitment. Although, San Francisco, however, is still waiting for their first Super Bowl to come since, 1994? And I do also believe the last quarterback they had, who was able to bring the Super Bowl home to the Bay, I think was Steve Young, as far as I know. And he was technically the succeeding quarterback of the 49ers to Joe Montana, who was arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, considering he, of course, at the time became only the second quarterback in NFL history to win 4 Super Bowl rings, aside from Terry Bradshaw, who was able to win 4 Super Bowls in the 70s with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even though the main reason why the Steelers were so dominant in the 70s is because they had a certain player by the name of Mean Joe Green. And from what I've heard, well, he was basically the key element to making the Steelers so dominant as they were in the 70s. And as ironic as it might be, well, the 49ers, they basically became the team of the 80s because they had the insatiable Joe Montana at the helm. I can also give a lot of that credit and success to Jerry Rice as well, who I heard was an exceptionally good player as well. But yeah, anyways, so you know. Point is, the 49ers have not won the Super Bowl for what will be 30 years by this time next year. And I reckon that since they've now got their franchise quarterback in Brock Purdy, I'd imagine it's only going to be a matter of time before San Francisco does make it back to the Super Bowl. I reckon they do look like one of those teams that will be competing for the title year in and year out, potentially. I think they've now established that. Anyways, so we had a Mitsubishi Lancer, a Toyota Celica, and a Nissan Sentra in that race. And Demetrius finished in 4th. Andy was 2nd, and it was Lily who took home the bronze. Alrighty. So that's now 6 of our 8 circuit races done and dusted. And now we just have 2 remaining. And both of those are located in the Bayview City core. And basically, I've now spent the past 15 plus minutes now basically explaining some of the NFL's greatest ever players. Anyways, we now have just 2 circuit races left. Also, until I watched the highlights of Super Bowl 47, I also came to realise just how good of a player Colin Kaepernick was. I mean, he was definitely one of those players who certainly managed to put up a valiant enough effort that was almost good enough for the Niners at the time to pull off what was almost a comeback win. I should also mention the Super Bowl that year also had a 38-minute delay following the halftime show because there was a blackout in half of the stadium, which had basically caused the game to be put on hold for about 38 minutes, and then I think it was after that when San Francisco very nearly rallied back to almost win the game. Anyways, the lead quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, by the way, when Ray Lewis was in his send-off game, was Joe Flacco. Anyway, this is coming from Harlan. Welcome aboard, dog. The rules for you are simple. Slow traffic, keep to the right. I don't want you getting in my way. We ain't driving Miss Daisy out here. You get the course map when you commit. You in? Whenever there's a race running, I'm always in. And as ironic as it might be, Joe Flacco did recently come back into the sport, and he was able to help the Cleveland Browns get into the playoffs. Even though the Browns at the time were basically battered and bruised, but Joe Flacco helped him pull through. Figured I'd just give him a shout out. Anyways, so we get a Lexus IS300, a Nissan Sentra, and a Volkswagen Golf GTI. Or Volkswagen Golf GTI. And already basically scything my way into first place ahead of Matteo. Harlan is third, and I think I saw Nigel, who was running in fourth. Okay, my mistake. Anyway. Here we are. And now, I basically need to beat the living hell out of these guys, because that is what I will always do. I also hate it when you come through a blind corner and then suddenly, without any warnings whatsoever, you basically just wind up getting yourself wrecked, sometimes even killed by the traffic once you exit the corner and you know you've got no chance of preventing the accident from happening before it already occurs. But anyway, as I've said before, it could just be a skill issue, but then again, I'm far from the only guy who has skill issues when it comes to dodging traffic. But either way, I am right where I need to be, out in front and steadily pulling away, because I need to do that in order to get the Grady sponsorship. I also need to make sure that my average reputation score is in the mid 270s, low 280s. If I'm going to get the sponsorship signing I need. Also, if you are paying attention to this, you might want to do something very similar to what it is I'm doing now. I also highly recommend you go through the... That's the second time. Literally just no warnings whatsoever, and then suddenly, for whatever reason, a pedestrian car suddenly shows up, coming out of the corner, and yet I basically have to get wrecked because of it. Even though there was nothing telling me that a truck was coming. It should also be mentioned that is a blind corner until you get on the corner exit. So you know, there is that. Meanwhile, I am now out in front. I do also reckon that there will be times, of course, where I do reckon with the Niners, I reckon Brock Purdy probably will be a Super Bowl champion before too long. Because that's just how good of a player I think he really is. He could even win multiple if he gets the right assistants, players, and just in general overall luck. Well, at least I did not get totaled by the traffic that time, which makes a change. Even though I basically did that by hitting a few bins, but again, doesn't matter because, well, I basically got myself involved in minor calamity before it could become major calamity. So yeah, you know. I also hope that San Francisco don't go through another Super Bowl hangover like they did before. Because that really is a good team in terms of their lineup. Oh, it was a Peugeot 106 we had in that race, not the Golf GTI. Yeah, they don't really... Yeah, the leaderboard doesn't really show the details during the race of which cars it is the AI are driving. Also, I don't think the game is loading my car. Oh well. Doesn't matter. I think that was now 7 races we've just done, so I think that just leaves 1 left, if I'm not mistaken. But still, if you are someone out there who is now a committed fan of the NFL like I am, I do recommend you keep your eyes on those 49ers more frequently, because I reckon they're going to be competing as one of the pre-playoff favourites to potentially make the Super Bowl for at least the next couple of years, if they can make it back. And we've now unlocked some more carbon hoods. Alright. Final circuit race of Stage 4. And I know this is the last one because I've done all 8 circuit races once before, and now, providing I can manage to be more successful in my quest of eventually achieving 100%, this, as far as I'm concerned, is definitely the last circuit race of Stage 4. And we've got a bit of a complex one here. Alright, looks like we've got a taker. If your banker's good, then roll up to the line. We've been known to take on some charity cases occasionally, and it looks like you'll fit the bill just fine. Yeah. I can assure you this charity case is a well-managed and well-oiled charity case. And it's also a charity case that will basically whoop your ass by the time this race gets going. So we got a Skyline, an RX-8 and a 240SX as our competition here for the final circuit race of Stage 4. And already up into the lead, even though the Skyline did get the initial jump. But either way, it didn't matter because I still managed to rocket into the lead regardless. I should have taken the high line, not the low line. Anyway. So yeah. Figured it would be worth it for me to shift into 4th gear for those 2 right-handers because, well, those 2 corners are certainly faster than they look, is what I think. Okay, maybe that probably is a 3rd gear corner, but either way, it doesn't matter because I am steadily pulling away from my competition. And basically, you need to not only dominate these races, you need to absolutely destroy them to the extreme if you want to be guaranteed those crucial 300 rap points. and taking the short chute inside the fountain, and of course taking the inside road because there's more grip by taking the short chute. And I've completed my first lap in 1 minute and 53.8 seconds. That could have been a lot worse than it actually was for me. I almost thought for sure that was going to absolutely destroy my car, but amazingly, my car somehow did not get airborne in that instance, even though it very well could have got airborne. I guess it must have been because my car was literally pinned to the tarmac, and that was probably what prevented further disaster from ensuing. That's probably what it was. Anyway, 1 lap is down. And now it is time for lap 2. And I'm so glad the game let me keep that power slide score, because it means more regenerative nitrous, which always helps, especially if you're in a tight race. I did also make sure to get the drag races out of the way early because, well, I kind of needed to do that in order to properly take this on. And that is pretty much what I'm doing here now. So, I am now pulling away from my competition as I am over half a minute ahead of Ewan. That is just how ridiculously prejudicial almost when you do a lot of these races on the easy difficulty. That is just how I think extremely prejudicial almost in terms of just how much you can absolutely dominate these races by. I think it's also possible to literally overlap the competition in certain street cross races. If the street cross track you're racing at is long enough, then it can be possible for you to overlap the competition. And I think I did actually do that once. I couldn't tell you which race it was, but I do know overlapping the competition in a street cross race on the easy difficulty is definitely possible if you're good enough to do it. At least I think I did that once. Well, I could just not be remembering much from the last time I played this. But anyway, crossing the line at 186 miles per hour, which is basically 300 kilometers per hour, and just like that, I've won in the end by 52 seconds over Ewan. Gabriel was third, and Andrew was fourth. It also kind of sucks to say that the maximum number of rep points we can get from a race in this game is only 300, when I think with those sorts of margins there should definitely be more than 300. But anyway, it doesn't matter, because we have done all of the Stage 4 circuit races, and now all I have to do now is get through the drift racer. Sorry, no, I did the drift racers first. Sorry. All I have to get through now are the sprint races, the SUV races, and the street cross races. Oh yeah, there's also the hidden races, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And also the outruns. I think I got everything there. Anyway. Huh. We've now got some more headlight colours. Isn't that interesting? And we are now 42% complete with the game. And we've also done 94 races in this game. And yep, that was the last of them. And next time, on Need for Speed Underground 2, we will be doing the sprint races. Coming in the next episode.
No one can rise, I need speed. When I'm racing that strip, I got the button and chip. Your car like something to strip, throw up the keys. The hoopty whip to the squatters, whoever putting